guys, it's Julie Creffield here. I thought I'd make a little video today about why I've become a life coach. Some of you will know me via my work with Two Factor Run, and some of you will know me as a business coach. But what you might not know is that I am also a life coach, and I don't always talk about kind of how I come to doing that work, because it's not something I ever pictured myself doing. It's not something you know, as a youngster go, oh, I know, when I'm older I'll be a life coach. I'm going to put my glasses on because it's quite sunny out here. And I think there's some kind of misconceptions about A, what a life coach does, and B, who the women are that require one. Because, you know, my perceptions before I became a coach was that you only got a life coach if A, your life was an absolute mess, or B, you were just super rich and had nothing better to do with your money or your time. I think both of those were absolute kind of misconceptions, and I know those not to be true now. So I just thought I'd kind of talk a little bit about how I got into life coaching, and talk a little bit about how my own life has improved through personal development and working with coaches. And I think the main thing is, whether you work with a coach or not, it's about taking time out of your busy life to really work on you. And we do live in this kind of busy world where often as women we put everybody else first, and sometimes we avoid doing the work because it feels hard. It feels like we don't want to really take time to think about stuff. We don't want to be reflective because we might not like what we find. But actually sometimes really kind of small insights can lead to little small tweaks in your life that make a massive difference. So a little bit about me. I've always worked with people. I started my career working with young people in the arts. I was a drama practitioner. Drama was the only thing I was good at school. And I just kind of followed my heart, really. I really loved being able to be creative and to help people tell their stories. So I worked with a lot of young people in East London, helping them to understand their lives. So when I think about it, I absolutely have been a life coach my whole life. It's just had a different title. And then I got into kind of volunteer management and worked on the Olympics, the London 2012 Olympics, for a number of years as a consultant and project manager. And then I got made redundant and I had my daughter Rose. And by that point, I'd found myself in a really shitty place. I had, it wasn't just to do with my relationship, but, I wasn't in a happy place. I had lost my sense of self. I wasn't looking after myself, both physically or emotionally. And definitely not spiritually, goodness me. And I didn't know who I was anymore. I'd, lost my identity at work because I'd been made redundant. I'd become a new mum, and I wasn't quite sure how that worked for me. I had no time, no money, my health wasn't great, and I knew I needed to make some big changes, and in many ways I was lashing out and making it be about other people, and I had a lot of anger and a lot of blame, and was looking externally for answers. I was looking for other people to change to make my life happier. And I think when I realised that the only way I was going to become happier was to make changes myself, that's when things started to change for me. And I've been doing a lot of thinking the last couple of weeks about how my life is different. And I was thinking about a phrase. I can remember when I went to Thailand, I went travelling a couple of years back, and there was this phrase that people would use, the Thai people would use, is same but different. And you might have heard this if you've ever been travelling abroad and you have a conversation with somebody about kind of, are things like this here? And things back home are the same. And we realise that there is this human connection where things are the same but just slightly different. And I think my life is same but different. I still live in the same house. I still am a large lady. I'm still single. So on the surface, my life is the same. But God, underneath it's so different. My outlook on life, how I take care of myself, the choice and freedom that I have, the amount of self-love I have, the amount of love I have for other people, and all of those things have definitely come through personal development and coaching, and being more reflective, taking time out each week to work on my goals, to work on my habits, my behaviours, and yeah, my life is unrecognisable, to me at least, in terms of how it feels, in terms of the opportunities I have, the experiences I have. But I think it does come down to that word freedom. I have so much more choice than I did 5 years ago, 6 years ago, where I felt completely restricted. I felt like I had no choice, like I was completely bound up by expectation and what other people expected of me. And I think this is the place where a lot of my clients get to. They find themselves in a place where they feel like they've not lost hope, but it feels a bit like overwhelming, a bit frustrating, a bit like, oh my God, I just need something. Something is missing in my life. And quite often my clients are, smart, they've got great jobs, they've got good relationships. So I think there's this expectation that kind of you only work with a life coach if you're broken, if you've got some kind of thing that needs fixing. And I don't think it's that at all, because, life coaching is not therapy, even though at times it can be therapeutic. And I think it's much more about the process of working with a coach. It's not a quick fix. A coach is never going to be able to solve your problems. They facilitate you finding the solutions to your own problems, if that makes sense. And I think it helps clients to identify what the actual real problem is, because sometimes it's not the thing that you think it is. So, when sometimes I'll work with clients and, they'll identify an issue like, weight loss, weight gain is the thing that is, they see as their biggest problem. And then when we do various exercises and we kind of talk things through, we realise actually it's not the weight gain that's the problem. It's the lack of control, or it's the lack of self-care, or it's the not truly loving yourself and feeling like if you lost weight you'd be able to love yourself more. So it's often not about the things that we think it is. And I think it's one of the things that I love about being a life coach is that it's not about me saying my life is perfect, because I also have to work on these things, but I now have the techniques and the tools to be able to do that, whereas a few years ago I didn't. And I think that is where sometimes my frustration is, when I design these programs that are about bringing women together to work on these things together, because yes, I work with one-to-one clients and I love doing that, but there's something special about women getting together, because you realise all these fears you have about, I'm not good enough, someone's going to find me out, I've got imposter syndrome, I'm not lovable, all these kind of self-limiting beliefs that we all have them. They just kind of manifest in different ways, and there's something so relieving about going, oh my God, you too? So we can all go, yeah, I feel like that, and we don't feel so alone, we don't feel so fucked up, because that's what a lot of us think. We get into this deep place where we're like, oh my God, I'm so fucked up, I'm so unlovable, I'm so, I'm never going to be a success, I'm never going to achieve the things I want in my life, and it's a kind of downward spiral. But when you realise that a lot of people feel like that, then it's about saying, right, let's stop the pity party and let's just find a way out. So I think there are a few kind of principles I think my work is based on, my group programs, but also one-to-one stuff. And I think one of it is around perspective and being really clear about what is life really like. Am I catastrophizing about my life? Am I practicing enough gratitude for what I have? And I think there's something about gratitude. It's not about saying, oh, I should be grateful, stop moaning. It's definitely not about that, because I think you can have gratitude for your existing life and still want a different life. And I think until you're grateful for the life that you currently have, it's really difficult to build a new life. That's my view. So there's something around kind of gratitude and perspective. And then there's something about creating the freedom that you desire. And that is about boundaries. It's about saying, look, these are my priorities, and how can I facilitate those priorities with the other elements of my life that stop me from normally getting them. So whether that's your job, your relationships, your kids, your time management, because often we feel like, oh, none of these things I can control, when absolutely we can. We just need to be brave enough to have those conversations, brave enough to say, hang on a second, this is not good enough, this is not leading towards the goals that I have, and we need to find a different way. So I think there's something around kind of finding a way to have the freedom that you want, and understanding what that looks like. And that's, I think the final thing is around having clarity. How can you work towards a life that you want if you're not really clear on what that life looks like? Being able to visualize the life that you want for yourself is so important, but so rarely do women have the courage or the time to sit and think about it. I think the courage bit is quite big, because I think we have shame. I think we have a lot of shame around wanting more. You know, we have these voices in our head that says, who am I to want more? You know, I've got a pretty good life, I should be just satisfied. And I don't think that's the case. I think we should be listening more to what our desires are, and having the courage to say, no, I do want more. I do expect more from my life. I am worth more. And that's around having clarity over our goals and really truly being able to visualise what that new and improved life would look like. So anyway, I thought, you know, I just wanted to, it's a beautiful day today, and I just wanted to kind of sit out here and just share my thoughts with you, because yes, I can write blog posts, and yes, I can promote the programs that I do, but how often do I get a chance to really sit and have a chat and just share with you without a script, without any pressure, you know, time pressures, just to sit and just share where I'm coming from, and what it feels like to work with me as a coach. You know, I can only continue to work as a life coach if women continue to pay me. You know, it is a profession, and I've invested a lot of time and money in becoming a qualified life coach, in improving my skills, in working with other coaches, in really honing my skill and working out what makes me different. And you know, I've been incredibly not lucky, but I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for the clients that I've had so far. I've built a beautiful community of women that really buy into the idea of living a bigger life. But that work only continues if I continue to attract new clients. And one of the things that I've definitely been thinking about recently is about how I make my programs more affordable for women. And so the program that I am about to launch, or about to start next week, Monday, Stop Playing Small, is a much more affordable program. So it's £97, and there's also a payment plan. And it's a 6-week program, and it's a group program. It's still a small group. There'll be 30 women, hopefully. Hopefully I've got about 5 more places left to fill. And it's a 6-week program over the summer. It's really light touch, doesn't take a lot of your time, and it's the kind of stuff that you can work through regardless of if you're on holiday, if you've got kids at home, if you're still at work. It doesn't matter. It doesn't take a lot of your time. It's much more about having a bit of headspace to work through some of this stuff. And the premise of the program is to really get clear on where it is you're trying to go with your life, and then finding the strategies, the tools, the habits that need changing. And one of the things we'll be working on, which is a kind of new thing really, is around having a personal manifesto. And I know that sounds like a bit of a kind of wanky kind of thing, but when you get clear on what your boundaries are and what your values are, and you use that almost as a Bible, as a kind of, you know, a mark in the sand that says, this is who I am and this is what I want, and I am going to work at maintaining those boundaries, in communicating that with the people around me, then everything seems to fall into place. And I think as we get older as women, we are much more clearer on what these things are, but we don't always have the confidence to communicate them with other people. And the moment we do, life gets better, and it absolutely does. So I'm going to leave it there, because I realise this is nearly 15 minutes long. But if you do have any questions, feel free to drop me an email. As I said, the Stop Playing Small program starts on Monday. I'll drop a link in below this video, and I would love to work with you over the next 6 weeks to help you get clarity on your life, and to give you the tools and techniques so that you can just use them forevermore. It's not about always needing a coach in your life. Sometimes it's about kind of going through a process, learning how to do it, so that you can do it by yourself. Anyway, I'm going to enjoy a little bit of lunch out on my balcony. I hope you have a great week, and I'll speak to you soon. All right, ciao.